Picture this. Right now, as you're reading this, millions of people are setting goals, creating vision boards, and promising themselves that this time will be different. They're buying courses, watching motivational videos, and telling everyone about their big plans. But here's the harsh truth that nobody wants to face. 99% of them will be exactly where they are today, 1 year from now. Why? Because they're fighting the wrong battle. Most people think success is about working harder, getting more motivated, or finding the perfect strategy. But neuroscience research reveals something shocking. The biggest battle isn't with external obstacles. It's with the voice in your own head. You see, every morning when you wake up, there's an invisible war happening in your brain. It's a war between the part of you that wants to grow and the part that wants to stay comfortable. And for 99% of people, comfort wins every single time. But what if I told you that the top 1% have discovered how to win this war? What if I told you that by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why most people fail, and more importantly, how to join the elite few who actually break through? This isn't another motivational speech. This is the psychology of transformation. Chapter 1. The Comfort Zone Trap. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to plan your success on Sunday night, but by Wednesday morning, you're back to your old patterns? Here's what's really happening. Your brain is wired for survival, not success. Every time you try to do something that feels uncomfortable, like waking up early, studying when you'd rather scroll social media, or practicing when you'd rather relax, your brain interprets this as a threat. Research from Stanford shows that when we're in our comfort zone, our prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for self-control, becomes less active. Meanwhile, the limbic system, the part that craves instant gratification, becomes hyperactive. Think about it. How many times have you set an alarm for 5 a.m. but hit snooze 6 times? Planned to study for 3 hours, but ended up watching videos for 3 hours instead? Promised yourself you'd work on that important project, but found yourself doing busy work instead? This isn't a willpower problem. This is your brain protecting you from what it perceives as danger. And here's the kicker. Every time you give in to comfort, you're training your brain that discomfort equals danger. But the top 1% understand something profound. Growth only happens in the discomfort zone. They've learned to reframe discomfort not as something to avoid, but as a signal that they're moving in the right direction. Chapter 2. The Psychology of Elite Performers. What separates someone like Elon Musk from the person who dreams about starting a business but never does? What makes Serena Williams practice when others make excuses? What drives someone to wake up at 4 a.m. to work on their craft while others sleep in? The answer isn't talent. It isn't even intelligence. It's something called deliberate discomfort tolerance. Studies on peak performance reveal that elite achievers have trained their brains to interpret struggle differently. When average people feel resistance, they think, "This is too hard, maybe I should quit." When elite performers feel resistance, they think, "This is exactly where I need to be." Here's what research shows about the top 1%. They embrace the process over results mentality. While 99% of people are obsessed with the outcome, the top 1% fall in love with the process. They understand that results are just a byproduct of daily systems. They practice emotional regulation under pressure. When faced with setbacks, they don't let emotions drive their decisions. They've trained themselves to stay calm in chaos. They live by non-negotiable standards. They don't wake up and decide how they feel about exercising or studying. They've made these decisions once and automated them. But here's the most important discovery. Top performers aren't motivated all the time. They're obsessed. Motivation is an emotion that comes and goes. Obsession is a lifestyle that creates inevitability. Chapter 3. The Neuroscience of Self-Discipline. Here's something that will blow your mind. Self-discipline isn't about being tough. It's about understanding how your brain works and using that knowledge strategically. When scientists studied the brains of highly disciplined people, they found something fascinating. These individuals don't have superhuman willpower. Instead, they've learned to design their environment to make good choices automatic. Think about it this way. Your brain makes about 35,000 decisions per day. Every single one of these decisions drains what researchers call your cognitive battery. The secret is to eliminate as many unnecessary decisions as possible. This is why Steve Jobs wore the same outfit every day. This is why Barack Obama only wore blue or gray suits. They understood that decision fatigue is real, and they preserved their mental energy for what matters most. But here's where it gets really interesting. Research shows that self-discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. But there's a catch. It has to be progressive overload, just like physical training. You can't go from watching Netflix for 6 hours a day to meditating for 2 hours. Your brain will revolt. But you can go from watching Netflix for 6 hours to 5 hours and 50 minutes, then 5 hours and 40 minutes. Small, consistent improvements compound into massive transformation. Chapter 4. The Mirror Test. Now we come to the most important part of this entire discussion. And I need you to really listen to this, because this is where most people's transformation either begins or dies. Your biggest enemy isn't your circumstances. It isn't your genetics. It isn't your background. Your biggest enemy is the person staring back at you in the mirror every morning. That person who says, "I'll start tomorrow." That person who says, "Just 5 more minutes." That person who says, "I deserve a break." That person who says, "This is too hard." That person who says, "Maybe I'm just not cut out for this." This internal dialogue isn't random. It's your brain's default programming, trying to keep you safe in mediocrity. And until you learn to win the war against this voice, you'll never join the top 1%. Here's what the research reveals about people who break through. They develop what psychologists call cognitive override, the ability to act despite their feelings. When they don't feel like working out, they work out anyway. When they don't feel like studying, they study anyway. When they don't feel like getting up early, they get up anyway. They've learned that feelings are temporary, but identity is permanent. Every time you do what you said you'd do, even when you don't feel like it, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. Chapter 5. The 1% Protocol. So how do you actually make this shift? How do you go from being someone who starts and stops to someone who shows up consistently regardless of how they feel? Step 1. The identity shift. Stop saying "I want to be successful" and start saying "I am someone who does successful things." Your brain responds to identity-based goals more powerfully than outcome-based goals. Instead of "I want to lose weight," say "I am someone who prioritizes their health." Instead of "I want to be rich," say "I am someone who creates value." Step 2. The minimum effective dose. The top 1% understand that consistency beats intensity. It's better to study for 15 minutes every day for a year than to study for 8 hours once a week. Start so small that it feels almost stupid to skip it. Want to read more? Start with 1 page. Want to exercise? Start with 1 push-up. The goal is to establish the neural pathway first, then increase intensity. Step 3. Environmental design. Make good choices easier and bad choices harder. Put your gym clothes next to your bed. Delete social media apps from your phone. Create friction for behaviors you want to avoid and remove friction for behaviors you want to adopt. Step 4. The daily identity audit. Every night, ask yourself 1 question. Did I act like the person I want to become today? This isn't about perfection. It's about awareness. The top 1% are ruthlessly honest with themselves about their daily choices. Step 5. Embrace the struggle. Reframe difficulty as a signal that you're growing. When something feels hard, remind yourself, this discomfort means I'm expanding my comfort zone. The top 1% have learned to find excitement in challenge rather than anxiety. The ultimate truth. Here's what I want you to understand. Becoming part of the top 1% isn't about a single dramatic transformation. It's about winning 1,000 small battles against the voice in your head that wants to quit. Every morning when you wake up, you have a choice. You can listen to the voice that says just 5 more minutes, or you can listen to the voice that says, let's go build something amazing today. The person you become is determined by which voice you choose to obey consistently. Most people will watch this video, feel inspired for about 48 hours, and then return to their old patterns. But you have the opportunity to be different. You have the opportunity to join the rare few who actually implement what they learn. The question isn't whether you're capable of joining the top 1%. The question is whether you're willing to do what 99% of people aren't willing to do. Choose growth over comfort every single day for the rest of your life. Your transformation starts with your next decision. Not tomorrow, not Monday. Right now. The top 1% are waiting for you. The question is, are you ready to join them? If this video changed your perspective, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make today. Remember, the war against mediocrity is fought and won 1 decision at a time. Choose to win.